Hey everyone, and welcome to analysis of the second half of the World Games Final. For the first half, check out Noah's video linked here. We hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube during this tournament, so before we get stuck into it, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody. I hope you're enjoying the content, and remember, if you want more, then we have a whole training archive available on Patreon, just a few clicks away. I'm going to go through each point here and take a close look at some key moments as the teams return to the field after half-time, with the USA leading 7-6. Galant is poached and he runs this line to try and occupy Ing. Ing doesn't bite on it, but there's no deep help, so listen to the crowd react.
This is an interesting choice.
So here is Edmonds then, the Canadian, looking for some options, and there's a big sprint on down the front. A very big sprint here, and Canada come away with an absolute classic. Galant.
Let's see what happened to the help. Okay, so face guard in the front of the stack, fair enough. Kayla spots it and assumes that one of the three deeper defenders will pick it up. That's also reasonable. Colton sees it and tries to raise the alarm, but it's too late. Henry Ing is coming under and Cammy Groom is marking tight, and Galant is already so far deep. Let's look at Michael Ing's D. He turns his back to Galant, who instantly changes direction. When Michael recognises it's a deep cut, he points deep and stays in the lane expecting a scripted throw to the open side under. He hasn't checked downfield since play begun, and when he does, he realises that Henry hasn't seen it, so he points again. There are already at least 5 other people pointing deep at this point, 6 people. Who was the first? The coach was, of course, that's why they're the coach. So Ing runs past 5 of his teammates to be the closest to the catch.
At the same time as Henry Ing's matchup cuts under on the opposite side.
From the other angle, it seems like Henry should be able to see the cut developing on the break side, but he doesn't see the second point from his brother, and he commits to the 1v1 under. This play likely only worked because the deep cut happened earlier than usual, throwing the defense off their rhythm, and OJ Samar did a good job of keeping Henry Ing occupied or distracted enough not to help deep. Edmonds' throw is perfect. Oh wait, no, it's a travel, I think, yeah. By a few frames. Let me know in the comments what you think about this travel for a change. Henry Ing should definitely have seen this play developing. But this type of blown coverage does happen. I'm reminded of Harper Garvey running past everybody on the field for this goal in 2021, US National Semi-Final. Check out this video that we made on that. Some excellent one-to-one defense by Lloyd and Bryson here, suffocating Brownlee and Kocher despite there being plenty of space available. Then Rafi gets a disc, fakes down the line, and his crossfield flick to Chastain bounces off the hand. Mark Lloyd punishes Brownlee's inactivity by poaching off Brownlee a quarter of a second before the release, which may have affected the throw and given Chastain something else to think about during the catch. Inactivity is one of the 4 key offensive mistakes we talk about in our high-level defense series. Canada squeeze it up the sideline and get stuck in the corner for a second. There's a poach on the up line, so they swing it to Chather, who spots Dion unmarked in the back corner of the end zone and throws a sweet IO scoober for the goal. If we look again, we can see the poach happens early and aggressively, leaving the player at the back open, but instead of cutting to the corner, they clear to the stack. Karahashi is looking at them, hoping to throw to them in the corner, but precious seconds are wasted as they clear out, and 2 nearby US defenders reveal their poachers. After 8.5 real seconds, Karahashi looks reset and sees this. Rafi's directly in between them, Chatter's just kind of pointing backwards, maybe looking for a hammer across the top. Karahashi makes the throw look easy as she puts an outside in, away from any other defenders, probably the lowest risk option. Hayes can't get anywhere near it. Dion is unmarked because Thompson and Chastain mistakenly picked up the same player after the poach. This wasn't the only scuba that we saw to the back corner this day. Check out Metzger's for Germany against France.
So they tied up 3 apiece.
It's a valuable tool to have at every level.
It's all action here.
Excellent roller pull by Chather. The USA sideline aren't ready to stop it, so Canada have time to set up a line trap. Finney holds onto the disc for 11 seconds as every option she looks at gets smothered, and Bryson finishes the job.
Canada really pressing at the moment. Wedge in her face.
Looking immediately for the fast break, Bryson runs out of each pass and uses touch throws to space, and then the unthinkable happens.
Wedge, the overlap round the corner, and a put down.
Absolute nightmare here for Dion. Clap catches are higher percentage than claw catches. The problem isn't that Dion makes a mistake. That can happen to any of us when we put ourselves in these high pressure sports situations. What we do right, what we do wrong can bring us elation, or it can be devastating. And that's the risk that we take when we're playing. Experiencing those highs and lows and going through them as a team is what makes us alive. But the problem isn't the mistake, and the mistake isn't the drop. The mistake is going for the claw catch, not the clap catch. When it comes to easy catches, going with the claw causes a lot of turnovers. So does going with the wrong hand on top with the clap catch. If we're serious about getting catching percentages higher, then all players should be learning to be able to clap catch with either hand on top, so they can use the lowest risk technique for any given situation. Let's wind it back. Dylan travels by walking the disc in diagonally, but Bryson lets it slide, and he gets broken inside for the swing. Lloyd has preempted a switch with Chatler, so he doesn't need to follow Lindsley's deep cut, and is in perfect position to cover Hayes' undercut without needing to move. Lloyd checks in with Finney, who does this weird fake but is still looking downfield. Colton directs a cut towards the centre, and Lloyd takes half a step to put off the throw. Lloyd returns to Hayes, and Finney looks reset late. Bryson and Jacobson apply pressure at the right time to completely suffocate USA. Finney got greedy looking downfield because two defenders switched to cover the deep, so an open under should have been a given. Lloyd managed to apply pressure to both of the unders, and the lanes were narrowed by the disc being surrounded. All three of these defenders are hungry and ready to bite on any fake that Finney gives them. If any of these fakes were realistic, then it would move the defenders around and create spaces on the field. Finney's fake looks to be some kind of communication with Freechild, but it doesn't really do anything. She then looks at Freechild and does the same fake again, but this time towards Helton, without looking at her. She's unwilling to hit Helton, maybe because she's near the sideline, and after 11 seconds of holding onto the disc, the net has completely closed. Bryson releases in less than half a second and is already running out of his throw whilst Finney is still in the air. A realistic fake to Jakobsen buys him enough space from Hayes to get the second return pass. Wedge makes this possible by turning inwards and not overcommitting to the continuation fake, which takes us to the moment before disaster.
The overlap round the corner.
On the turn, the Canada men continue to poach and switch. Colton sets up the steep cup nicely. Bryson and Dion switch late, but the throw from Helton is precise. It's unclear whether Helton sees Canada switch. With Bryson closing, the throw here has to be pinpoint. Any lower, any higher, out to either side, slower or faster, and Colton would have had a job to do to keep Bryson from having a bid. As it is, she can sprint on her direct line, and I'm sure a few hearts jumped into their mouths when she went to claw it, but it sticks in the hands and brings the score to 8-8 when it was so nearly 9-7 to Canada. Brownlee's pull misses the back corner by 2 yards. Canada pass it around, and then Lindsley steps in on the mark and there's a clash of heads. This is the moment of contact. How many marking infractions can you count? Here's a list of all 6 that are in the WFDF rules. Pause now to guess properly. I count a total of 3: straddle, disc space and wrapping. And the wrapping isn't done by the arms, but by having any part of the body above the thrower's pivot point. Nobody likes to see Lindsley taking a knock to the head. Viewer discretion here is advised, as the clash of heads is one of the worst injuries that I've seen. Look away now if you don't want to see it. It terrified all of us at the time. Lindsley, you got to protect your noggin, mate, come on. This throw is nuts, so watch the cut, and at this moment the disc is leaving the hands, perfectly leading Edmonds to the space. The fact that it's a backhand means that the release is quick, and the IO fade gives the catcher more time. The mark here isn't even that loose, but throwing a flick here would have taken longer and had to be more precise, as it wouldn't fade back towards the catcher as the IO backhand does. Instant power position. There's some contact off disc and off screen between Beaudry and Thompson. Here's what they say to each other.
I mean, my positioning is right here, not pushing against him. Too much contact. You're not supposed to have contact. I mean, that's just not going to do anything. I'm not supposed to just get out of your way. I'm in.
Thompson actually demonstrates the level of contact she initiated, proving Beaudry's point. Any intentional initiation of minor contact, such as putting a hand or arm on the player you're marking, is a breach of the rules, a violation in WFDF and a foul in USAU. I wish coaches would stop teaching players this legal touch-tight defense. Ultimately, it's up to the players to agree on a level of contact they're comfortable with, but if one player says 0 contact, then that should be immediately respected. After 7 seconds, and probably on stall 9, Kimura doesn't have any options and floats the disc out to the far corner.
Galant
Samar brings it down and lands on Trope's foot, which must have hurt like hell. If we look again, we can see Chastain on the mark puts a foot down to stop the around. This is a straddle, as the foot and the line between the feet is within a disc diameter of the pivot foot. This is illegal positioning, and when Kimura attempts to step, there's contact and they stumble, giving advantage to the USA. Kocher misreads the disc, which levels out slightly in the air for more hang time. He did have space to make a play here. Trope sees the play develop and occupies a position to affect Samar. Trope unfortunately steps under Samar, and I'm glad it wasn't any worse. She's back on the field a couple of points later. Dion's pull here at 9-8 is absolutely world class. It's fielded aggressively by Freechild, who gets the disc back, looks downfield, and puts the Canada defence on the back foot. If we look again, we can see Freechild running out of his throws. When the force arrives, he throws a flick give and go past them. This forces the defence to switch and take the runner, but then when he gets the disc back, it makes Ing the runner. Then he passes back to Ing, and suddenly he's the runner again. So the Canada defence is well put on the back foot by this, and Freechild is able to instantly convert that into yardage. But when he looks downfield, he sees this. Two Canada female matching players are poaching underneath while Jakobsen poaches deep. After 20 passes, Finney goes for a crossfield flick to Hayes, which seems kind of unnecessarily risky at the time, and he gets swatted away by Bryson. Chatha picks up and rips a full field backhand down the line to Molly Wedge, and Canada's hopes are up again very quickly as they take the lead 10-8. Marquez goes for an inside backhand break, but Dion has read it and catches the D to get the disc moving quickly. Lloyd makes a good catch on the sideline, but after 7 seconds doesn't like the look of this reset and tosses the disc into the end zone. Marquez takes the opportunity to get the disc back in his hands. USA's fast break is unstoppable, and Hayes hucks it to Trope for the goal. If we look again, we can see Trope going deep against the gender mismatch, which Beaudry has to pick up. Chapter looks like he's been caught in two minds. In this point, Henry Ing switches off the back of the stack for this easy USA block, not making the same mistake as he made earlier. It's hard to say why Kimura doesn't see this poach. Perhaps Ing is obscured by the players in the stack? USA swing a couple of times and advance the disc up the sideline, where Coulton throws a truss ball to Michael Ing, which sails over his head. Galant does well to look like he's about to jump 15 foot in the air, and he baits Ing into bidding too early. USA is super hungry to get it back, as Coulton bids against Kurahashi, and then Freechild gets tantalizingly close. This bid by Coulton is dangerous. It doesn't matter what genders are involved. At this moment, you have to make a decision to pull out, because it's not cool to have your body weight landing this close to someone's knees and ankles as they're concentrating on catching a frisbee. Edmonds throws Noah Brinkworth's favourite, the over-the-top push pass for the goal. And when we look again, we can see Michael Ing bizarrely takes a path between Edmonds and Freechild, fouling and straddling him in the process, and then jumps into Snyder, who isn't too happy about it, but there's no harm done.
Just a cheeky push pass over the top of his mark.
In this point, USA put their offense so quickly, scoring in 5 passes. They run a flood play to the away side. Galant has preempted a switch, so he sees that the USA are all moving towards each other, decides to leave Kocher and pressure the lane. The poach from Lloyd makes hitting Kocher difficult, so Thompson looks to Brownlee. Although Chastain is getting free, Brownlee fakes, which causes the flow to stutter and stops his momentum going downfield. So far, advantage Canada. If we look again, we can see that at the moment of release, Brownlee is set to get the disc with no mark and momentum going towards a big space. There is one USA player who can instantly make use of that space and get the disc in power position, and that's Thompson, who has body position on wedge. After a defender bites on the fake to the pull play and the force moves to pressure the around, the way that this can be turned into a USA advantage is to throw and go with Brownlee, turning the separation into flow and the space into yards. The flood downfield has split Dion, so Chastain comes under and makes a fairly difficult catch on an inaccurate throw from Brownlee, and the USA dump and swing for the goal. Grant gets separation after Bryson poaches to cover him briefly and then returns to his assignment, and Galant gets faked out hard.
Not getting over the advantage line at the moment, but now they do.
Accurate throw from Kocher just to lead him out into the space. Oh wait, is it a travel? Is it fine to just have a bit of leeway with that rule, or have we got some serious technique rethinking to do? Let us know in the comments. Either way, great technique on the catch from Lindsley to get it high and safe. USA poach off Canada's handlers to stop their pool play. Edmonds does the throw and go move on the open side that I was talking about in the last point, and Kamira is available for the return. USA have a series of layout bids in this sequence, so let's take a closer look. Jakobsen does a throw and go, and Helton throws her body down. She might be going for the layout point block here, or she might see the throw and go threat and be trying to block it physically, which is dangerous play, landing this close to the lower legs. Jakobsen jumps over the bid cleanly, so advantage Canada. Finney reacts quickly to cover, and Freechild covers for the help, again getting tantalisingly close with this bid. Canada's advantage is cashed in on with lateral flow. If we wind it back, we can see Beaudry sees Jakobsen early thanks to turning inwards after the catch. If she had thrown a quick lefty backhand here, then that would have cashed in on Helton's missed bid more directly, and it would have generated threatening flow moving forwards. Canada are patient in the red zone. Samar calls foul on this contact with Michael Ing. In the discussion, he clarifies that he's okay with the shoulder to shoulder, but that Ing's hands got involved too. The stoppage halts the flow, so advantage USA. The chance of a turnover on a first pass after a stoppage is fairly high. Jakobsen saves this one, and then there's a pick at the back of the stack, advantaging the USA again. Out of this stoppage, Jakobsen's throw is just slightly behind Kimura, resulting in the turnover. Cami Groom sprints deep and forces some switches from Canada, then gets a massive gain under. Canada never really properly recover from this fast break, and then Helton makes a solid same third throw to Michael Ing for the USA goal to bring it to 11-all. Canada centre the disc and run their set play, while USA poach and switch to negate it. Advantage to the USA, secondary looks are shut down, and then the final option to Beaudry is intercepted and swatted down by Cami Groom. If we look again, we can see a completely open Jakobsen running into the defensive coverage, whilst Beaudry is shut down by Chastain. Chastain and Groom are able to switch onto the unders as Trope is covering them deep. Edmonds immediately looks laterally. Brownlee does well to stop the around, and then Edmonds turns his back and breaks the connection with Galant. By the time he reconnects, Kocher starts closing in and he's not sure about the Oyo, so he looks at the gap behind Kocher, but Chastain and Ing have now closed those options down too. He looks at Beaudry, who moves to go deep, but the stall is too high for that, and Cami Groom has read the play and mops it up. Things I would like to see different here. 1. Develop a fluid and rational pool fielding technique which uses the space that's available, and from there build good habits. Anything other than one-to-one defense interferes with the pool play, so once you see any switching, surrounding or poaching from the other team, be dynamic instead. Number 2, take the open pass, recognise the poaching, and make the decision to abort the play early and use what's available. Number 3, control your balance. This is just the 3-person break force drill. Square up to the mark, and if they lunge to stop the backhand, then you should be ready to throw the flick or the lefty. Number 4, occupy the space. I'm a big fan of spread offences rather than big space offences. This big space, combined with Chastain's movement, should automatically draw the offence in to get connected with the thrower. Lastly, Groom has done well to read the play, but I'd love to see her catch the block here. Chastain is already ready for the next pass, and it would be an easy double dribble up to the end zone line, with Brownlee isolated further downfield. Thompson holds onto the disc for 15.5 seconds, whilst Galant shuts down Kocher. It looks like there are a couple of fast count calls here. Beaudry calls foul on this move by Chastain, and it's a tricky one. I love the footwork as Chastain steps around to gain body position, and Beaudry ends up going into the back of the leg. Is Chastain making reasonable efforts to avoid contact here, or is Beaudry being forced to get out of the way and then led into the contact? It's hard to say. I'm leaning Chastain's side here, but it's an understandable call to make. USA dump and swing, and Thompson floats it out to Groom, who makes a clean and a big jump in. Brownlee is offering an option to punish the poach. If Groom wasn't open, then I'd love to see a big high release scoober or upside down backhand which helixes over to the back corner. That would be sweet. USA are in the lead for the first time since they took half 7-6. A break would mean that they win. A hold by Canada means universe point. There's a pick in the stack that shouldn't be called. Pick calls can be delayed for 2 seconds to determine if they affect the play. In this case, it would not have affected the play, so there's no reason for Colton to initiate contact with Freechild and call pick here. It stops the game, and it advantages the USA, who are able to lock in and try to generate a turn on the first part out of the stoppage. Chatha finds Edmonds, but USA hold on defensively until this fairly high stall mistake. Lloyd hasn't touched the disc all point, and Lindsley is ready to punish when Edmonds throws slightly too far behind. Molly Wedge almost gets this poach block on Lindsley, Beaudry almost gets this poach block on Ing, and then it looks like Finney's free, but Dion is poaching off the back, picks her up late, and then, oh, you have to be catching that D. OJ Samar saves the game by going up late, but if you're in position to catch that, it's crazy to give them a second chance at scoring the winning point. Samar then rips a backhand the length of the field to Bryson, who calls a foul on Freechild. Both players wait to watch the video replay on the big screen. I'm surprised that Bryson went with a clap here when he was under so much pressure. This opened up the opportunity for Freechild to go between his hands. It's a close one, and Bryson opts to retract his foul call, so that's a great display of good spirit with so much at stake. Bryson switches to cover Lindsley under, and Finney instantly hits Freechild. They bounce it around a bit more, and then Finney stone cold turfs it. Canada plays steady, patient offense on the turnover. Wedge gets the disc in the centre and throws the assist to Chatha. Freechild gets caught face marking and actually overruns this bid as he's expecting the disc to go out to the space. 12-12 brings us to Universe. From the last point, Canada keep OJ Samar, Bryson, Chatha, Wedge and Beaudry all on the field, only switching Dion for Kurahashi and Edmonds for Galant. USA switch 6 players, only keeping Grant Lindsley on the field. This line management after a relatively long point could turn out to be critical. Wedge goes for a poach block, but Kocher recognises it and hits the open player. A few passes later, Hayes gets separation from Bryson under, and then Wedge makes a bid which leaves her massively out of position. Thompson takes advantage in the most effective way possible with the quick give-go move. Brownlee puts the return pass in jeopardy for a moment by turning outwards on this catch, but USA have plenty of space and time to work with. Chastain bounces the disc back nicely to Thompson, and then just outside the end zone, Trope is there at the front to secure the US victory. If we look again, Canada do look exhausted, and USA make it count really efficiently. Brownlee is free in the middle for about 2 to 3 years. Hayes' separation here encourages Beaudry to poach deep, which makes Chastain completely free to assist Thompson. I'm not sure why Canada kept 6 players on the field after the last point. USA boasted their depth by rotating a fresh 6 in, and they did look a lot sharper on the field for that point. So another World Games victory for the USA after it looked for a while like it was going to go to Canada. There were some great plays, but it wasn't an incredibly clean game from either side. I didn't like to see this recurring trend of more contact coming from the USA when the scoreboard isn't in their favour. A couple of the fouls seemed a bit cynical to me, but they did prove their talent and depth throughout the game. After the initial blown deep help at the start of this half, they adjusted and used team defense to stop pool plays and in key moments to apply pressure to the Canadians. USA's tight marking earned a couple of turnovers too, but Canada were their own worst enemy with too many unforced errors when they were in the lead. Losing Britt Dos Santos to a knee injury earlier in the tournament may well have made the difference in Universe, or if Wedge's missed bid simply hadn't been punished so effectively by the USA. Canada's team defense helped get the disc off the Americans, but so did a few unforced errors from the USA. In the end, the USA hit the throws when they needed to, and had the depth to keep pressing Canada right through Universe Point. I hope you've enjoyed watching our analysis, and we'll see you again soon.
And it's a gold medal Team USA, Robin.
And honestly, the United States having Anna Thompson deliver the game-winning assist to Claire Trope, the future of American Ultimate is bright.